You meet someone new, a handshake, 2 seconds of eye contact, and before they've said a single word, your brain has already decided whether to trust them. You didn't choose this. It just happened. Somewhere behind your eyes, a judgment formed faster than thought itself. But the real answer to why is far stranger than gut feeling or reading the room. Your brain built that verdict using a system so old it doesn't even belong to you. It belongs to every human who ever had to decide in half a second whether the stranger walking toward camp was a friend or a threat. You inherited the machinery. You just don't know you're using it. Start with the number that should feel impossible, 100 milliseconds. That's how long it takes your brain to form a first impression of someone's trustworthiness, according to psychologist Alexander Todorov at Princeton. 100 milliseconds is faster than you can consciously read a single word. It's faster than a blink. And yet, in that sliver of time, a stranger's face has already been sorted into a category: safe or not safe. Todorov's research showed something even stranger. Give people more time, a full 10 seconds instead of 1/10 of a second, and their judgments barely change. You don't get more accurate with more time. You just get more confident in the same snap decision your brain already made. Why would evolution build a brain that decides this fast and this stubbornly? Because for most of human history, hesitation could kill you. Picture an early human ancestor on the savannah. A figure appears at the tree line. There is no time for careful analysis, no time to gather evidence, weigh probabilities, consult a friend. There is only time for one question, answered in an instant: fight, flee, or trust. The humans who paused too long to think it through didn't always get a second chance to learn from the mistake. So the brain evolved a shortcut. And the shortcut lives in a small almond-shaped structure deep in your skull called the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's threat detector. It doesn't wait for logic. It fires first and asks questions later. Every time you meet someone new, your amygdala is scanning their face for the ancient warning signs: wide eyes, a lowered brow, unfamiliar features. It's not thinking about their resume or their handshake. It is running a program written for a world that no longer exists. Here's where it gets stranger still. Todorov found that trustworthiness judgments cluster around two specific facial features: how happy or angry someone's expression seems, and how masculine or feminine their face appears. Faces with slightly upturned mouths and softer features get rated as more trustworthy. Faces with lowered brows and harder angles get rated as less trustworthy. Your brain isn't reading character. It's reading geometry. It's matching a stranger's bone structure against a template built from millions of years of ancestors who needed to guess right, fast, with imperfect information. And it guesses wrong constantly. Todorov's studies show these snap judgments have almost no correlation with a person's actual trustworthiness. None. The confident split-second read you get from a stranger's face is, statistically, closer to a coin flip than a character assessment. But try telling that to your amygdala. It doesn't update on new evidence easily. It updates on threat. So if the system is this unreliable, why hasn't evolution fixed it? Because from evolution's perspective, it was never broken. A false alarm costs you nothing but a moment of unnecessary caution. A missed threat could cost you your life. Natural selection doesn't optimize for accuracy. It optimizes for survival math. And in that math, being wrong about a friendly stranger is far cheaper than being wrong about a dangerous one. Your brain would rather insult 100 innocent faces than miss one genuine threat. This is the part that should stop you. That ancient calculation is still running. Right now. In job interviews, on dating apps, in courtrooms. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar's research on human social groups adds another layer. Dunbar found that throughout most of human history, people lived in bands of around 150 individuals, a number now known as Dunbar's number. Within that group, everyone was known. Every face had a history attached to it. Strangers were rare, and rare meant dangerous by default, simply because there was no shared context to fall back on. Now think about how many unfamiliar faces you encounter in a single day. Scrolling a social feed, walking through a train station. Your brain evolved to handle maybe 150 known faces and a handful of unknown ones a year. It is now processing thousands of strangers a week, and it is running every single one of them through the same ancient trust or threat filter, built for a world of campfires and small tribes. No wonder it feels exhausting sometimes to just exist in public. There's a twist inside the twist. Psychologist Paul Zach's research on the hormone oxytocin found that trust isn't purely a snap judgment made by the amygdala alone. Small, repeated positive signals, a returned smile, a shared laugh, a moment of eye contact held a beat too long, can trigger oxytocin release and begin overriding that first threat assessment. Your brain isn't locked into its first verdict forever, it can be talked down. But it takes real, sustained social signal to do it. A stranger's face gets 100 milliseconds to convict you. It can take minutes, sometimes much longer, to earn a reversal. So every first impression you've ever formed, and every first impression anyone has ever formed of you, was decided before either of you said a word. Before qualifications mattered. Before kindness had a chance to prove itself. A verdict handed down by a threat detection system built for a world without strangers, now running full-time in a world made almost entirely of them. Think about the last time you didn't get a call back after an interview and wondered what you did wrong. Think about the last time you clicked away from a stranger's profile in under a second. Sure, you just knew something about them. You didn't know anything. Your amygdala ran a geometry check against a Pleistocene template and called it intuition. This is happening to you constantly, and it will happen again the next time you meet someone new. Somewhere behind your eyes, 100,000-year-old guard is still standing watch, still measuring brow angles and mouth curves, still deciding in the time it takes to blink. You meet someone new, a handshake, 2 seconds of eye contact, and before they've said a single word, an ancestor who never met them has already cast the vote.